Did you know that the most popular anime in history has had deleted scenes and even parts that were completely censored? Never before has an anime been in production for over 24 years with such great success as One Piece. Filled with jokes and a sarcastic and mocking sense of humor, One Piece is a worldwide phenomenon, but it hasn't been immune to having some scenes censored in certain places. Like that time when HELMEPPO, that spoiled guy with hair that looked like it was cut by his own mother, threatens Kobe with a firearm. In the censored version, the firearm was changed to some gadget that looked like a combination of a hammer and an accordion, making it difficult to identify what it really is. But it definitely isn't a firearm, which is what they didn't want to be shown after all. And who would have thought that HELMEPPO and Kobe would become friends later on? But if you want to make friends, never do what he did. For these and other reasons, we have compiled 11 deleted or censored scenes from the most famous anime of all time. Number 2. Gun to Shanks' head. Even though the creator of the anime, Ichiro Oda, has said that the anime will end in 5 years, the truth is that nobody knows when someone will find the famous One Piece hidden by the Pirate King. That's why the anime already has over 1,000 episodes. However, in some places, there has been censorship in the 4th episode of the series. The scene change occurred when a guy pointed a gun at Shanks' head, the red-haired pirate. But in some locations, the gun was replaced with a gun that had a cork in the barrel. The intention was to avoid a reference to violence, but those guys are pirates, so it's hard to imagine them stopping that. Number 3. Rifle in the mouth. Well, if a gun to the head would already be a reason for a scene change, imagine a rifle in the mouth. That's exactly what happened in the Arlong Park arc, when Nami's adoptive mother, Belmere, took down the leader of the fishmen and simply shoved a rifle in the thug's mouth. In some places, the rifle was replaced with a shovel, one of those used for digging. The scene became somewhat nonsensical, but the purpose of the censorship was maintained, right? Number 4. Zeph's leg. The truth is that some scenes actually had to be excluded during the production phase of the anime because, in the original source material, which is the manga, they were too intense. One of them involves the founder of the Baratia, Zeph. Those who watched the anime or read the manga know that Zeph and Sanji, when he was still a child, got trapped on a rock and ended up without any food. In the anime, it is shown that Zeph lost his leg while saving Sanji from drowning by using a chain from an anchor, which must have been quite painful. But the truth is, in the manga, it never happened that way. They were indeed trapped without food, and it was exactly where that Zeph lost his leg. But he actually cut it off himself using a rock. Considering they were starving, literally, you can probably imagine what happened to the leg afterward. Number 5. Kick in that place. One of the most annoying characters in One Piece is definitely Buggy, the clown. Well, there are some people who actually like him. By the way, let us know in the comments below if you find Buggy irritating or if you enjoy the crazy clown. The fact is, the clown was one of the first to get a beating from the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. And one of the things Luffy did to Buggy, who had the ability to split into multiple pieces, was to deliver a kick right in that place of the clown. Since that's not something children should imitate, the scene was changed to a kick in another, let's say, more appropriate location, the clown's knee. Number 6. Luffy's scar. Speaking of the possible future Pirate King, everyone knows that Luffy has that scar under his left eye, but in the anime, it was never shown how he got it, unlike the manga, which revealed it but decided not to adapt it because they thought it was too dangerous. The scar appeared at a moment when Luffy, still very young, tried to prove his courage by taking a knife and stabbing his own face. I have to agree on this one, it could definitely influence some children to harm themselves. Better to have left it out. Number 7. No cigars! Some characters in One Piece are heavy smokers, that's a fact, which, by the way, will eventually ruin their lungs. Unless they're made of smoke, like Smoker, a Marine officer who almost succeeded in sending Luffy to the guillotine. That's probably why he doesn't smoke just one, but 2 cigars at the same time. He's crazy. So, just to be safe, in some places they removed the cigars and only showed the smoke coming out of the mouth of the user of the Akuma no Mi, to avoid conveying the message that smoking is okay. Number 8. No cigarettes either. Well, if cigars can't be shown, cigarettes are definitely out of the question. And if there's one guy who smokes cigarettes in One Piece, it's the Straw Hat Pirate's cook, Sanji. The guy does practically everything, always with a cigarette in his mouth. Along with his spiral eyebrows, that's definitely one of his trademarks, along with his kicks, of course. But they thought that Sanji's smoking habit would be a bad influence and an inappropriate encouragement for children. So in some places, the Straw Hat Pirate's cook's cigarette was replaced with, guess what? A lollipop. In other words, he traded a lung problem for diabetes. Jokes aside, I don't think a pirate with a lollipop is very intimidating, just saying. But the message is clear, don't smoke, because it will definitely harm your health. and that's definitely true. Now, let us tell you about one of the saddest scenes in all of One Piece that was cut. So if you're a One Piece fan or anime lover, comment below #pirate so we know if you deserve a devil fruit power. Number 9. Desperation and Okobore. One of the saddest scenes in the manga was not adapted for the anime. It takes place in the village of Okobore during the Wano country arc. In this place, people were literally dying of hunger, and the desperation was so high that they were on the verge of committing terrible acts just before the food arrived. For example, in one panel of the manga, we see a scene where a woman holds a starving baby in one arm and a knife in the other, indicating that she was about to end the child's suffering at that moment, with tears streaming down her eyes. On the other side, there's an elderly woman who appears to be offering her final prayer, and just above her, there's a rope in the shape of a noose, indicating that after her final prayer, she was going to hang herself. And this time, I have to agree that it was indeed a rather heavy scene to include in the anime, so it was adapted in the anime to a scene where the two women and the baby shows no signs of intending to commit those atrocities. In both cases, they were informed by a neighbor that the food had arrived and that everyone was saved. Thank goodness. Number 10. Bartolomeo and the tongue. Another change that needed to be made in the anime, compared to the manga, involves a character named Bartolomeo, whom many, especially those watching the anime on Netflix, haven't seen yet. He is the commander of the 2nd Division of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. He met Luffy in the Colosseum, and ever since, he has been a super fan of the Straw Hat Captain. But like, a really big fan. He doesn't tolerate anyone speaking ill of the Straw Hat Captain in his presence. A poor guy didn't realize he was nearby or wasn't aware of this obsession, and he made fun of Luffy. In the anime, that was enough for Bartolomeo to give the gladiator a well-deserved beating and leave him alive, but just barely. But in the manga, things were a little different. He not only beat up the guy, but also ripped out his tongue so that he would never speak ill of Luffy again. Man, I have to say, that would have been a really bizarre scene. Number 11. No vulgarity. This change involves Law, who is one of the pirates known as the Worst Generation and becomes an ally of Luffy throughout the anime. One of the trademarks of the Surgeon of Death is that he often flips off those he wants to mock, and in the manga, that's exactly what he does during an auction when Kid, another strong pirate, arrives at the scene. As expected, in order not to encourage children to go around mimicking obscene gestures, the scene was significantly modified in the anime. Law simply gives Kid a mocking and confrontational look, and the scene ends there. In another scene, again involving Kid, the middle finger is actually shown, but it's accompanied by the index finger. In this case, he shows both fingers, unlike the manga, where he once again makes the obscene gesture. In other words, no vulgarities. Better that way. Those were the 11 deleted or censored scenes from One Piece that we've compiled for you. Comment below which ones you found unnecessary and which ones you think they made the right decision to change. We want to know. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Until next time, bye-bye.